Have you ever wondered what it would feel like to stand in a place where nature itself seems determined to end you? Places where the air you breathe could kill you, where the ground beneath your feet might suddenly disappear, or where wildlife views you as nothing more than the next meal. Our planet harbors extraordinary locations that are as fascinating as they are deadly, places where humans dare to venture despite the extreme risks. Today, we're exploring the 5 most dangerous places on Earth, where survival is just challenging. It's a miracle. From scorching deserts to frigid mountain peaks, from radioactive wastelands to islands crawling with deadly predators, Earth hosts a remarkable array of perilous destinations. What makes these places so dangerous? Is it extreme weather, toxic environments, dangerous wildlife, political instability, or perhaps a combination of all these factors? While most of us seek safety and comfort in our daily lives, there's something deeply captivating about places where danger lurks around every corner. These locations challenge our understanding of what environments humans can survive in, and they remind us of the raw power of nature, a power we can never fully control, only respect. So buckle up for a journey to Earth's most treacherous locations. Some are tourist destinations that claim lives every year despite warnings, while others are so extreme that only the most daring explorers or desperate locals ever set foot there. Each represents nature at its most formidable, beautiful, fascinating, and absolutely deadly. 1. Erta Ale Volcano, Ethiopia. Deep in Ethiopia's Danakil Depression lies another deadly wonder, Erta Ale, one of the world's most active volcanoes and home to a permanent lava lake that has been bubbling for decades. Its name in the local Afar language translates to Smoking Mountain, but locals know it by a more ominous moniker, the Gateway to Hell. What makes Erta Ale particularly dangerous is its unpredictability. The lava lake can suddenly overflow or explode without warning, sending molten rock flying at temperatures exceeding to 0 degrees Fahrenheit, 100 degrees Celsius. The thin crust surrounding the lake can collapse under a person's weight, leading to an unimaginably horrific death. The dangers extend beyond the volcano itself. The journey to Erta Ale requires traversing some of Earth's most inhospitable terrain, with temperatures regularly exceeding 120 degrees Fahrenheit, 49 degrees Celsius. Political instability in the region adds another layer of risk. In 2012, 5 tourists were killed and several others kidnapped by armed attackers near the volcano. Yet scientists and adventurous tourists continue to make the perilous journey to study and witness this rare geological phenomenon. For volcanologists, Erta Ale provides valuable insights into Earth's internal processes. For tourists seeking extreme experiences, the sight of churning lava illuminating the night sky creates memories that justify the risk, at least for those lucky enough to return unscathed. 2. The Valley of Death, Kamchatka Peninsula, Russia. Hidden within Russia's remote Kamchatka Peninsula, a place so toxic that birds flying overhead have been known to fall dead from the sky. The Valley of Death, located near the Kikbinich volcano, is a geothermal field where high concentrations of poisonous gases, primarily hydrogen sulfide, carbon dioxide, and carbon disulfide, create a deadly trap for any creature that enters. The valley was only discovered in 1975 by scientist Vladimir Lenov, who noted the disturbing abundance of animal carcasses scattered throughout the area. Bears, foxes, wolverines, and countless birds lie perfectly preserved, their bodies mummified by the mineral-rich environment rather than decomposing. What makes this valley particularly dangerous is how deceptive it can be. On cool, windless days, the deadly gases, heavier than air, form an invisible layer close to the ground. Animals and unwary humans entering the valley feel no immediate effects until they reach a point where the concentration becomes lethal. By then, disorientation sets in, making escape unlikely as victims quickly lose consciousness and succumb to asphyxiation. Scientists can only study the valley by wearing gas masks and limiting their exposure time. Despite these precautions, several researchers have reported symptoms of poisoning after visiting. Today, The Valley of Death is part of the Kronotsky Nature Reserve, accessible only with special scientific permits, a restriction that likely saves numerous lives each year. 3. Skeleton Coast. Namibia. Few places embody their ominous names as literally as Namibia's Skeleton Coast, a 300-mile stretch of Atlantic shoreline littered with the bones of whales and seals and the skeletal remains of shipwrecks. The indigenous Bushmen called it the land God made in anger, while Portuguese sailors referred to it as the gates of hell. This coastal desert represents a perfect storm of deadly conditions. Powerful, unpredictable currents and dense fog banks have claimed countless ships over the centuries. Those sailors who manage to swim ashore face an even crueler fate, finding themselves stranded between the frigid Benguela current of the Atlantic Ocean and one of the world's oldest and driest deserts. The northern section of the Skeleton Coast receives less than 2 inches of rainfall annually, yet paradoxically, the air is often thick with fog, created when the cold ocean air meets the hot desert. This fog provides just enough moisture to sustain some life, but not enough to support human survival. Shipwreck survivors historically face a nearly impossible journey across vast sand dunes, with no fresh water and scorching daytime temperatures that can exceed 110 degrees Fahrenheit, 43 degrees Celsius. Today, the Skeleton Coast is a national park, and limited tourism is permitted in certain areas. The southern section can be accessed by conventional vehicles, but the more remote northern region, containing the most spectacular and haunting shipwrecks, requires special permits and fly-in safaris. Despite modern GPS and satellite phones reducing the risk of becoming fatally lost, the Skeleton Coast remains one of Earth's most inhospitable environments. 4. Fukushima Exclusion Zone. Japan. On March 11, 2011, a 9.0 magnitude earthquake and subsequent tsunami triggered the worst nuclear disaster since Chernobyl at Japan's Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant. The resulting meltdown of 3 nuclear reactors released dangerous levels of radiation across a wide area, forcing the evacuation of over 154,000 people and creating one of the newest dangerous places on Earth. Today, a 12-mile 20-kilometer exclusion zone surrounds the plant, encompassing abandoned towns where time seems frozen. Radiation levels in the most contaminated areas can exceed 500 millisieverts per year, enough to significantly increase cancer risk with just hours of exposure. Particularly concerning is cesium-137, with a half-life of 30 years, meaning these areas will remain dangerous for generations. What makes Fukushima uniquely haunting is how quickly human absence has allowed nature to reclaim the space. Wild boars roam empty streets, plants burst through concrete, and beetles inhabit abandoned homes, creating an eerie post-apocalyptic landscape where radiation has become part of the ecosystem. Studies already show evidence of mutations in local butterfly populations and abnormalities in birds. The Japanese government has been gradually reducing the size of the exclusion zone as decontamination efforts progress, allowing some former residents to return to areas deemed safe. However, many communities remain ghost towns, and the plant itself will require an estimated 40 years for complete decommissioning. While limited tours now operate in the outer regions of the zone, the areas closest to the reactors remain some of the most dangerous places on the planet. 5. Madidi National Park, Bolivia. At first glance, Bolivia's Madidi National Park appears to be paradise, one of the most biodiverse places on Earth, teeming with extraordinary species across its 7,320 square miles of rainforest, mountains, and grasslands. But this biological wealth includes an unprecedented concentration of organisms designed by evolution to kill. Madidi hosts more than 1,000 animal species, including jaguars, pumas, and anacondas. However, the greatest dangers come from smaller creatures. The park is home to 120 species of venomous snakes, numerous venomous spiders, scorpions, and insects whose bites can cause paralysis, tissue necrosis, or anaphylactic shock. Perhaps most insidious are the microscopic threats. The park harbors rare tropical diseases like leishmaniasis, Chagas disease, and several strains of hemorrhagic fever. The warm, humid environment creates perfect conditions for flesh-eating bacteria to thrive in even minor wounds. Adding to these biological hazards are physical ones. Unpredictable rivers with dangerous currents, quicksand-like mud that can trap unwary travelers, and remote locations that are days away from medical assistance. In 2017, Israeli adventurer Yossi Ginsberg's harrowing story of survival after being lost in Madidi for 3 weeks was adapted into the film Jungle, highlighting the park's dangers. Despite these risks, or perhaps because of them, Madidi attracts researchers and adventure tourists seeking to experience one of Earth's last truly wild places. For those willing to accept the risks, it offers glimpses of species found nowhere else, though such knowledge sometimes comes at a terrible price. From radioactive wastelands to islands of deadly predators, from lakes that petrify to coasts that kill, Earth's most dangerous places reveal the complex relationship between humans and our planet. These locations remind us that despite our technological advances, nature maintains the upper hand, powerful, unpredictable, and sometimes lethal. Yet what's most fascinating about these deadly destinations is not just their danger, but how they attract us despite, or because of the risks they pose. Scientists continue to study these extreme environments, yielding insights that benefit humanity. Adventurers test their limits against Earth's most formidable landscapes, finding profound meaning in the challenge. And indigenous communities have developed remarkable adaptations that allow human life to persist even in places that seem utterly hostile to our survival. These dangerous places are more than just hazards to be avoided. They're living laboratories, ultimate challenges, and windows into Earth's raw power. They demand our respect while capturing our imagination, representing both the limits of human endurance and our relentless drive to push beyond those limits. What dangerous place on Earth fascinates you most? Would you visit any of these locations if given the chance? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more explorations of our planet's most extraordinary features. Until next time, stay curious and stay safe.